companies. I wasn't born into it. We lived on welfare, but I wanted more. I created this show, The School of Wealth, helping people escape poverty like I did. I want to help you out of that consumer debt, teach you how to increase your credit score, teach you how to make more money at your current job or your current business, and then how to actually create generational wealth without changing your lifestyle. It is going to be a lot of fun. This is not like regular school. Hey, I'm Rondi Lambeth, and this is The School of Wealth.
Hello, my friends. How are you? Sorry to keep you waiting. I was on a phone call with our developer. We've been having some issues with our new software and stuff, so I had to cut him off. So he's probably on here right now. Thank you, Eric, for your time. Sorry to cut you off. Anyway, I want to talk about travel and credit. Today, I'm in Chicago. Actually, this is the first time that I've been in Chicago outside of the airport. So pretty cool city. It's nice and humid, nice and warm. I guess they have lots of good weather here a couple times a year, but it is actually pretty nice right now. Got to walk along the river, and it was really interesting. I've never seen blue water like it is here inside the United States. I've seen blue water like in Costa Rica. It was really blue, and parts of Dominican Republic, it has a really blue tint. Tahoe has blue water, but it's clear. You can see through it. But here it was just interesting walking along the river and the lake where it just blue, almost like this color of the suitcase my computer's sitting on. So that's where I'm at, is Chicago. And so I want to talk about traveling with credit cards versus debit cards, and why having good credit makes travel a lot easier. One of the things that bad credit can impact you on is rental cars. Many rental car companies will charge you $300 to $500 deposits when you rent a rental car with a debit card. Many rental car people won't even rent to you with a debit card if you don't have a returning flight, and you have to give them their flight information. Others will do a credit check. I remember Budget used to have a sign, and I posted on social many times, where it's something like, if you rent a car from us, we're going to check your credit. And they actually pull your credit to see if you have any collections. And if you have collections and outstanding bills, they won't rent you the car. So that's some of the things that happens when you rent a car without having a credit card. Another thing they will do, if you have good credit, you can qualify for like the Visa signature cards, the American Express Platinums, the Chase Freedom, the more, I shouldn't say nice, but the cards that you want to have, the credit card that you want to have, that comes with some rewards and some bonuses. They will automatically give you insurance for that car when you rent it. Whereas if you use your debit card or the garbage credit cards, you don't get the automatic insurance. So if you get in an accident, you have to pay the deductible. Now, if you have car insurance, generally the way it works is you rent a car. If you get in an accident, you pay the deductible, you pay the difference, you try to figure it out, and you fight with them. But when you have these other credit cards, they'll pay that deductible. They kind of just pay all of it. It's kind of like a umbrella policy. So that's another advantage of having credit and good credit cards when it comes to renting a car. The other thing, when you want to sign up for some of the the rewards. So like I have a Budget Fast Break membership, the memberships with these rental companies. They'll check your credit. And if you have bad credit, many times they won't give you the fast break. So for example, if I go to Budget, I don't have to stand in line and wait for a car. I don't have to stand in line with everybody else, go up to the front, tell them I want to rent a car, do all that paperwork. I literally can walk past everybody, go outside, pick a car. and I don't have to stand in line and do all that paperwork. It might not be a big of a deal where you live, but I can tell you this: when you go to like Las Vegas, you could stand in line for 2 hours. My daughter recently stood in line 4.5 hours to get a rental car. 4.5 hours to get her car. And I literally just got off the shuttle bus, walked outside, told the person I wanted a car. She said, okay. I had to wait for someone to come up. I walk over, I get in the car, and I leave. So another reason you want to have good credit is so you can get onto some of those membership, because it's nice. Now let's talk about other things that help with traveling. When you have like the American Express Platinum card, the Delta card, the United card, Alaskan Airlines, American, the bigger airlines, they have clubs. Southwest doesn't have clubs. Frontier Airlines doesn't have clubs. Allied doesn't. Spirit doesn't. But the bigger airlines do. And the club is an area, if you've never been into one, it is an area inside the terminal that's private, that you walk in, usually get an elevator, go up a floor, and then there's people sitting there, and you check in kind of like at a hotel. They check your flight, and they check your credit card. It used to be that as long as you had the credit card, you could go to any of these clubs, and you didn't have to be flying with them. Now you have to be flying with them and have one of their cards. So like if you're flying with American Airlines, you have to have the American Express or the American Airlines credit card and be flying American. You can't be flying Southwest and still get in. So then you go in, and some of these clubs are pretty basic. They're just a room with a TV, maybe some coffee, maybe some water, and some oversized chairs. And it's quiet, kind of secluded. And then you get the normal clubs that you have here in the States would be the oversized chairs, couple TVs, different areas, salad bar, snacks, coffee, a small bar. Then you get like in the big airports, Dallas, LA, even Vegas has a really nice Amex club, full-blown dinner, breakfast, omelet bars. I've been in and had steak and lobster at the American Express in Las Vegas. I used to go to the airport an extra hour early so I could have omelet bar. I used to try to get my layover so I could go in and have lunch. I've been in there where they had full-blown fried chicken and rotisserie chicken in these things. Miami has it to where they have beds, they have showers, they have rooms that you can go and rent by the hour. You can actually sit down and work. You can print. China, when I was there, they had movie theaters inside their Amex clubs. So when you have these cards, it makes it really nice when you travel. You know, I don't mind the 2-hour layover in Atlanta anymore. In fact, I will often select the 3-hour layover now in Atlanta or Dallas versus the quick switch. You know, like I fly from Boise to Florida all the time, and you can usually go through Dallas, Atlanta, or Minneapolis. And I almost always pick Atlanta with a 2 to 3 hour layover versus Minneapolis in a little tiny layover, or Salt Lake with no layover, because I end up getting home about the same time. The difference is I can sit in a club in Atlanta, have dinner, have some drinks, etc. Now, some of the airports don't have clubs. Like Charlotte, North Carolina didn't have it last time I was there. So instead, in Tampa, same thing with Tampa, certain terminals don't have it. So like in Tampa and Charlotte, because they didn't have the club, you could actually go to a restaurant, and when you pay with your Amex card, your Delta card, your American Airlines card, or whatever, they give you a credit for that dinner or drinks. And Atlanta has the same thing. I remember upstairs, there's a piano bar area where you can go in there and have dinner, and they pay for it. American Express does. So that's some of the advantages, makes travel a little bit more convenient. Also, when you have these reward cards and you can rack up points, you guys know about this, where you redeem points for trips and you get to take your family on trips, right? So that makes it, that's nice to have a bunch of points. So that's some of the advantages that you get when you have good credit and you travel. And then your hotel stuff, you can get suites. I don't know if you follow my daughter, Chastney. Last week she was in Vegas and she got this suite. I'm going to guess it's 2,500, 3,000 square foot suite with full wraparound balcony where she could go outside on the strip. She could go to the other side, which was a nightclub, and then see the pool. They got that room absolutely free. They didn't pay anything for that room. And they did it by knowing how to hack the credit card reward points and the casino points. And she does this all the time in Las Vegas. She'll get suites. This is just the biggest one I'd ever seen that she had gotten. So those are just some of the things that you can get for free as a benefit, make your life a little bit easier when you travel, when you have good credit. So I hope that helps. All right, what questions we got? See, here's a fellow Arate brother on here, says, if I give myself a K1 dividend, would it be deductible? Pull that Chastney up. It's Slaves Inc. Slabs Inc. says, if I give myself a K1 dividend, would it be deductible? Well, it's deductible for the business. So it's deductible for the business, but then you personally pay tax on it. It's a flow through. Hopefully that makes sense. So the business, Fortress, gets the write-off, but it flows through to me as a dividend. So I pay income tax on it. Okay. So hopefully that answers your question. Do I have any more questions here? Fortress University's live. We went live on Tuesday. Not all the videos are done. We're releasing them every month, but it is live. We can fix your credit inside Fortress University. We do have a new finance company. Will finance 100% of it. 12 months, same as cash. We got a bunch of bonuses going on right now, so you can add spouses and other things. So it is live. Looking for some questions. If you guys have any questions regarding credit, money, taxes, debt, let me know. Post it in here and I will do my best to answer it. If I don't have any questions, I'm going to take off because I have some friends on the way here to the Park Hyatt, where we're going to go have some dinner at a steakhouse because, when in Chicago, get some good steak, right? I'm doing 75 hard right now, so I don't think I will be getting any deep dish pizza since my diet on 75 hard is no breads, no wheat, etc. So no deep dish pizza for me. Thoughts on Grant Cardone? Grant Cardone is an incredible marketer, and he's much shorter than me. There's my thoughts on Grant Cardone. Oh, awesome. Thanks so much, Sue. Glad to help out with your credit. What was the program you just mentioned? That is Fortress University. So Fortress University, we've switched from just a credit repair company to a financial education company that offers free credit repair as a bonus, similar to your credit cards I was just talking about. You get the credit card, you get free credit monitoring with it, you get free car rental insurance with it, you get extended warranties with the credit card, right? So with Fortress University, you get financial education with free credit repair. It is Fortress University for everything is $25.75 or $97 per month. That is lifetime credit repair, including inquiries for $25.75 or $97 a month. And that's 12 months, same as cash on that $2,500. Christy says, how will getting a $50,000 secured loan for 60 months affect my credit when getting a house? I don't know. I don't know because I don't know what else is on your credit, Christy. I don't. It could affect your debt to income ratio. So that doesn't affect your credit, but it could affect your debt to income ratio to where you wouldn't qualify for the mortgage. It could lower your mortgage if you're just on the cups of getting it. You're 640 and you get a new loan. That will most likely lower your credit score because 90% of all late payments happen within the first 2 years. So that could lower your credit score. I don't know. I have to look at the whole picture. So it just depends. I would think like a $50,000 car loan or something may or may not. Late payment due to deployment. What do you think could help out with possible? I'm already with you. If you are active military, there's what's called the Soldier Sailor Act. Banks cannot legally charge you interest when you're deployed. They cannot report you late, and they cannot force you to make payments. No interest, no payments. They can't report you late. Soldier Sailor Act. When I was in the military, every summer I would get activated for the National Guard. And I would literally call up and I was going through college, working as garbage man and the National Guard. And money was tight. So I would call and I would get all my stuff extended 6 months because I'd get deployed, right? Because I was activated. I was on active duty. So I would send in my paperwork being on active duty and I would literally ask for an extension. I'd get 6 months off, no interest, no payments. So they cannot legally report you late if you're deployed. So that's a simple fix. You just call them up. Hey, I was deployed. They may or may not ask for some proof. If they already have you down as a active military member, they probably won't ask for proof. If they don't, then you're going to have to send in some deployment records. Okay. Potentially, Christy, you could switch from the standard credit repair, potentially. Most likely, yes. We've been switching most people over. And we have been, anybody that's paying more on Fortress Credit, we're switching it over and we're changing the price just to make it that flat fee. So for example, let's say you signed up for credit repair and we estimate it's going to be around $2,900 to fix everything. And if you want Fortress University, we'll discount it to $25 and give you all the credit repair for free. If you've already paid in to the credit repair, we'll credit that towards the $25.75. We just got to work on the financing stuff of it. If applying for a mortgage, how recent can other credit inquiries be? Well, if you're applying for a mortgage, what I'm going to recommend is you do not apply for any credit at all. I don't know if that helps. That light it's starting to get dark here in Chicago. If you're applying for mortgage, you do not want to be applying for credit anywhere. Now, if you have a thick credit file, those inquiries probably won't impact you at all. So that really won't matter. But your lender, though, is going to have issues with you applying for credit during the mortgage process. Hey, babe, can you? Sorry, I got a friend on his way over here to the hotel, and he's texting me, and I don't want him to wait. So there you go. Thank you. All right. So the inquiries, your lender is probably going to have an issue with it. What are my thoughts on velocity banking, using credit cards to pay down a car loan? I think it's great. You know, we call it Fortress Banking. That's one of my programs. It's how to pay off your mortgage in 7 to 10 years without making a bunch of extra payments, how to pay off the car loans much faster using credit cards. So if you understand how to do it, it's an incredible tool. It works extremely well. I'm changing my my philosophy on debt. And I'm changing on low interest debt. Credit card debt, I don't think you should have consumer credit card debt. I think you should pay that off. But I'm changing my philosophy on whether or not you should work hard to pay off your mortgage, whether or not you should work really hard to pay off the student loan. And the reason why is because the current administration is printing so much money. And what they are trying to do, one of the things they're trying to do, is by printing money and creating money out of thin air through the Federal Reserve, it devalues our dollar. And when you devalue our dollar, it lowers our debt. And I know you've heard this where there's no way we're ever going to pay back our loans, ever pay back China. Well, 30% of all the money in the whole world right now has been printed in the last few months. Think about that. And it's probably closer to 50% now with this new plan that Biden come out with, or his people come out with. So if he can't pay back debt, then let's lower the value of the dollar by creating inflation, which then eliminates how much or reduces how much we really have to pay. So I think velocity banking is a great tool. Fortress banking is a great tool to use the credit cards to pay off the car loans, use the different types of checking accounts to pay off the mortgage. I think it's a great tool. I don't know how hard I would work to get out of debt to get out of debt. Okay. Now, there are some people that up here, they can't handle debt. They don't function very well by owing money. And it's up here. They got to fix that. I'm not like that. I don't mind making payments on it. I don't like paying interest. But if I can get a loan, like right now with my EIDL loan, I got an EIDL loan for Fortress in DYD and Credit Mojo. It's like 2.75% interest, 3% interest, something like that for 30 years. I don't think I'm going to be in a hurry to pay it off. Let's call it 3% and inflation's 5%. If it's 3% interest and inflation's 5%, and inflation is actually way more than 5%, they're lying to you when they say that inflation's under control. They're absolutely lying. Go to a lumber store. A sheet of plywood was $15 a year ago. Now it's $98. That's called inflation. Anyway, so if it's 3%, I don't know if I'm going to be in a super big hurry to pay it off if inflation's 5%, because it just gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper as they inflate the dollar, which is why I'm buying a lot of Bitcoin and other crypto, because Bitcoin is the protection against inflation. Bitcoin is the new gold. It is the way to hedge your finances. So anyway, great question on Fortress University. Is it a good idea to refinance the mortgage at this time and park some of the money in one of those IULs? I can't answer that. I'm not going to answer that here, but potentially, yes. Potentially. I personally don't like using debt to invest in that way. Like I'll use cash to get an apartment complex and use the bank's money to an apartment because I know I'm going to get my money back. But I don't go and get a credit card or get a loan to put it in another investment. I don't think I would take it out of the mortgage. We can talk offline about it where maybe you do some crypto or something else that pays out a little bit more. I don't know. It just depends. Could it work? Yes, it could work, but there's so many different variables that I don't know. I wouldn't want to say without seeing everything. So send me a DM. We can talk about it later separately. Thank you, Sue. You know, we got a new student loan company that I started talking to last night. I'm doing some due diligence on it. They are getting student loans dismissed and reduced significantly. So it's a pretty cool program. Let's see. Let me reword that. I have credit inquiries from a month ago for a vehicle that was purchased through my business, but they pulled my personal credit. Will this affect me if I apply for a mortgage in the next month or two? Probably not. No, I would dispute those inquiries anyway. I'd dispute them and say they didn't have permission or permissible purpose to pull the credit. So I'd dispute them and get it removed. But no, most likely, if it's in a month or two, it's not going to matter. Where it's a problem is you're going to get a mortgage next week and you apply for a bunch of credit cards today. And next week you pull the mortgage and they don't know if you got the credit cards or not. If you got the loan, it'll make it a little bit easier because if they say, hey, what are these inquiries? Oh, I got a car. Oh, and then the car shows up on the credit. That's a good thing. If it doesn't show up, that's a bad thing. So, but it shouldn't affect you, Mark. What's my thoughts about borrowing against your own money, financing a house 3 years, then paying it off? I don't know what you mean, your own money. Now, if you're talking about an IUL and you want to borrow from your IUL, it's 0% interest, so you can invest with that. I think that's an incredible idea because you still get paid, up to 26% interest on your IUL, depending on what the stock market's doing. The stock market's going crazy. So, some of my clients are getting 26% a year in interest in their savings account. They can borrow against that at 0, still get the 26% and invest it. And they're really double dipping on it. So I think it's a good idea. Dave's losing his mind listening to this. Yeah. Dave is a special guy. He's got his listener base figured out, though. He's got his listener base figured out with it's easier not to do anything. It's easier to not learn about money, debt, and credit and just go along to get along. It's easier to go home, drink a couple beers, kick your feet up, pull your shirt up, play with your belly button, watch TV, talk about how credit's bad, debt's bad, cash is king. That's a lot easier than actually learning how this whole thing works. But Dave's got his audience figured out. Got any more questions here? I don't see any. If you got some more questions, throw them in here and I would happily answer them. Another thing with credit, with traveling, I saw this today when I was walking along the river. I think it was the river. By the Navy Pier in downtown Chicago. I saw a kid. It was a tourist. I'm assuming a tourist because a whole bunch of them together and they're going down to the beach to go swimming. And he dropped his iPhone and smashed it on the sidewalk or the stairs. And, he's really upset, which I would be too because iPhones are expensive. Smashed it. Do you know if you have certain credit cards, like the American Express Platinum, the Chase Freedom, the Citibank cards, that if you purchase electronics, you get extended warranties and loss and damage warranties and replacements. So you don't necessarily have to get insurance on your phones. So Chase Sapphire is another one where if you buy an iPhone and you lose it, you file a claim. You buy an iPhone, you smash it, you file a claim. Or if it gets stolen, or if it just stops working, it's fixed. It's replaced. It has extended warranties, all for free through the credit card. So another advantage of the credit cards. Let's see. Charles says, do you negotiate the credit card fees? I have a Chase Sapphire Reserve, and it might be tempted to get Platinum. I do all the time. Absolutely. A lot of times they'll waive the annual fee, and there's actually a hack to getting the annual fee reduced. There's some, not loopholes, but there's regulation on credit card fees and annual fees. There's a way to actually get that reduced. I don't necessarily participate with it, but there is a way to do it. But yes, you can absolutely reduce it. They usually will do it your first year. If you're active duty military, almost all of them will waive the annual fee. And if you're not, then you just simply got to ask. Sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. I generally don't get a credit card, and I don't recommend getting credit cards that their annual fee is above the benefit. So like my platinum card, $600, it's a lot, but I get way more than $600 in benefits from it. I mean, you get $200 Uber credit, you get $200 food credit, you get way more than that. Here's another benefit of American Express. Certain hotels, if you make a reservation, then you pay with that American Express, a lot of times you get free breakfast with it. That could be $40, $50. So, but yeah, you can negotiate on that fee. See, how do you feel about credit card arbitrage? If you're talking about using a credit card to invest, doing a 0% balance transfer, if that's what you're talking about, you got to be really careful with that stuff. You can make money at it, but you just got to be experienced with what you're doing. That's what I feel about that. I think I got that question already. Yeah, I got that one. Any other questions, guys? If you don't have any more questions, I'm probably going to change and go to get me a big old steak because I'm hungry. It's a little bit later here than it normally is when I do this call. So, all right. I don't see any more questions, so I appreciate all of you guys. If you are interested in Fortress University, send me a DM. I'll get you introduced to one of our consultants, get you all signed up and ready to go on that. And then you can also call in. If you're already a customer, you can call in and we can see about getting you switched over to the flat fee that the credit repair is included versus the paper delete. So appreciate each and every one of you. See you guys later.